The descent from the high sun-scoured ridge is a slow transition of color, weight, and temperature. As the exposed spine of the Rift Valley is left behind, the harsh white gold glare of the midday sun begins to filter through a thicker, more humid atmosphere. The air here, closer to the valley floor, carries a new and subtle weight, a dampness that hints at the presence of the life-giving artery cutting through this ancient landscape. The transition is not sudden, but a gradual softening of the world. The sharp, dry scent of parched grass and sun-baked minerals is slowly replaced by the deep, loamy fragrance of wet earth and the green, sharp aroma of lush vegetation that clings to the hidden moisture of the riverbed. The landscape knows the water is near before it is even seen. The acacia trees, once scattered and lonely on the ridge like distant sentinels, begin to cluster together. Their umbrella-like canopies thicken into a deeper, more vibrant green, casting pools of dappled shade across the transition zone. The ground beneath your feet changes in response to the proximity of the river. The fine red volcanic dust that coated your shins on the ridge gives way to a darker, heavier soil. Eventually, the path becomes a field of smooth, rounded river cobbles. These stones are the silent travelers of the geological world, worn down over thousands of years by the patient, unceasing movement of water. They are cool to the touch, their surfaces polished to a dull, matte sheen by the endless friction of silt and current. As the group approaches the bank, the scale of the valley seems to shift again. The high, jagged cliffs of the rift are still visible, towering in the hazy distance, but the immediate world becomes intimate and enclosed. The tall, brittle grasses of the savanna are replaced by high reeds and thickets of papyrus that sway with a heavy, languid grace. There is a profound sense of relief in this change. The open plain is a place of constant vigilance, but the riverbank feels like a sanctuary. Here, the heat of the sun is tempered by the cool breath of the water, a gentle movement of air that carries the ancient mineral scent of the river. The water itself is a ribbon of shimmering light cutting through the dark, iron-rich earth. It is not a fast or violent river, but a steady, deliberate flow that has carved its path over eons. The surface is a moving mosaic of reflections, the pale, creamy sky, the green of the reeds, and the dark silhouettes of the ancestors as they reach the edge. The movement of the water is a constant, a background presence that anchors the world. It flows with a weight and a purpose that feels eternal. This is the source of all things in this landscape. Without it, the valley would be a tomb of basalt and dust. Standing at the water's edge, the group pauses. There is a shared moment of stillness as everyone acknowledges the shift in the environment. The feet that were once covered in the fine red dust of the ridge are now submerged in the cool, yielding mud of the bank. The sensation is immediate and grounding. The mud is thick and fine, like silk between the toes, carrying the coolness of the earth's deep layers. It is a sensory anchor, a reminder of the physical connection between the body and the world. You feel the weight of the water against your ankles, a gentle, persistent pressure that seems to pull the heat of the day from your skin. The task at hand is simple and unhurried. The group begins to gather the stones that have been brought here by the river's long memory. These are not just rocks, they are the potential for survival, the raw material for the tools that define your kind. You look for the specific shapes that have been perfected by the water, stones that fit the palm of the hand with a natural, comfortable weight. The selection process is a slow and thoughtful one. You reach into the shallow, clear water, the coolness of it rising up your arms, and lift a rounded cobble from the bed. You feel its balance, the smoothness of its grain, and the latent strength within the mineral. The stones are heavy, and as you hold them, you can feel the subtle vibrations of the earth. You look for phonolite, basalt, and quartz, materials that will flake with precision. You test each one, turning it over in your weathered, calloused hands. Your fingers, strong and precise, map the contours of the stone. You are not just looking for a tool, you are looking for a partner in the work of the coming days. The group moves with a synchronized, quiet efficiency, each member focused on their own search. There is no need for words. The sound of the water and the rhythmic movement of hands in the stream create a shared experience of deep meditative focus. Nearby, others are focused on the roots and tubers that grow in the soft, saturated soil of the bank. The process of gathering is a quiet, repetitive motion. Hands dig into the cool, dark earth, uncovering the pale, starchy life that hides beneath the surface. These roots are a precious resource, providing the energy needed for the long walk. They are pulled from the ground with care, the dark soil clinging to their rough skins. One by one they are washed in the clear flow of the river. You watch as the dark soil swirls away in thin, dissipating clouds, revealing the pale, cream-coloured flesh of the root. There is a profound sense of abundance here. The river provides not just water, but the nourishment that allows the group to persist. The gestures of the gatherers are economical and precise, a testament to a deep understanding of the environment that has been passed down through countless generations. This knowledge is not held in books, but in the muscles and the memory of the hands. You know which reeds are the strongest for weaving, which roots are the sweetest, and which stones will hold an edge the longest. This connection to the land is what makes you an apex of a long and patient design. You are a part of this world, a single thread in a vast and beautiful tapestry that stretches back into the dawn of time. As the gathering continues, you observe the life that thrives along the riverbank. A tall, prehistoric heron stands perfectly still in the shallows, its grey feathers blending into the shadows of the papyrus. It is a master of patience, waiting for the slightest movement in the water. A small, bright kingfisher darts across the surface, a flash of blue and orange against the dark mirror of the river. Dragonflies with delicate, translucent wings hover over the reeds, their movements quick and erratic. In the distance, a herd of Deinotherium, the massive ancestors of elephants, moves toward a bend in the river to drink. They move with a heavy tectonic grace, their presence a reminder of the scale and power of the prehistoric world. The light continues to change, moving from the amber of the late afternoon toward a soft, desaturated lavender. The shadows of the reeds stretch long and thin across the water, creating a rhythmic pattern of dark lines that move with the current. The air begins to lose its sharp, biting heat, replaced by a gentle warmth that feels like a physical embrace. The intensity of the midday sun has faded, leaving a world that is soft, hazy, and quiet. You breathe in deeply, the air carrying the scent of wet stone, damp earth, and the sweet fragrance of the river plants. Standing in the shallows, the movement of the water against your legs becomes a part of your own rhythm. It is a gentle, persistent pressure, a reminder of the flow of time and the continuity of life. The river has been here long before you, and it will remain long after you have gone, a silent witness to the unfolding story of the human spirit. The stones you have gathered are heavy in your hands, a tangible weight that connects you to the earth. You place them carefully into a wrap of animal hide, feeling the solid, cool presence of the minerals. The group begins to move back toward the higher ground of the bank, their movements slow and deliberate. There is no haste in the departure. The transition from the water back to the land is a soft one, a slow re-entry into the cooling air of the early evening. The mud on your feet begins to dry as you walk, leaving a fine grey crust that feels like a second skin. It is a mark of the river, a physical reminder of the time spent at the source of life. You look back at the river one last time before the group moves into the thickening shadows of the trees. The surface is now a dark, polished mirror reflecting the first hints of the coming night. The reeds are silent, the wind has died down to a faint whisper, and the valley is beginning to breathe with the coolness of the dark. The journey continues, not with a sense of destination, but with a sense of being exactly where you belong. The water has given what it needed to give, and now the group moves toward the shelter of the evening, carrying the peace of the river with them. The path forward is clear, marked by the long shadows and the cooling earth. The weight of the day is starting to lift, replaced by a quiet, expectant stillness. You feel the strength in your legs, the resilience of your body, and the deep connection to the others in the group. Together, you are a part of a lineage of walkers, a pack of endurance moving through a world of wonders. The stars are not yet visible, but you can feel their presence waiting behind the fading light of the sky. As you move away from the river, the air becomes drier again, but the coolness remains. The scent of the water lingers on your skin, a refreshing memory of the valley floor. You are home in the vastness. You are safe in the heat and in the coming dark. You are exactly where you were always meant to be. The day has been long and the world is wide, but in this moment there is only the rhythm of the walk and the steady, unhurried flow of time.